Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm RP.
And this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me.
Hello, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast, episode 8. Ocho, welcome.
Dude, holy crap, dude. 8 episodes.
I know.
It's wild.
Feels like 38.
We've been doing this since like
April. Yeah, it was before my birthday.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Happy to be here. It's a nice adventure for us, I think.
We're still having fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it really is. It's just like we're just on this ride, this adventure ride, just like the Jungle Cruise.
Oh.
Getting right into it. As you can see from today's title, we're going to talk about the Jungle Cruise game. But before we get into that, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a segue that.
No, you took and ran with it. I'm into it.
I had to.
Yes.
So today's episode's going to, just like kind of our last episode, is going to be a little different. This is the first game that I'm bringing to the table to coincide directly with the film's release, which is today. So go buy it on Disney Plus or go to theaters, as we talked about before. Whatever you think is worth it financially, go see it.
Yep.
So who doesn't want to see The Rock and Emily Blunt?
I will watch Rock and anything. Anytime they cast The Rock, I'm just like, all right, I'm in. Like, he's just, I know it's just not like, oh, here he is again, but Dwayne Johnson, as I know him personally, it's just like a nice dude. Like, he just seems, I follow him on Instagram, I follow his stuff. He just seems like a genuine guy, where at first I was like, oh, here we go, another wrestler. Like, but he broke out, and he might be one of my top 5 like movie stars at this point, because he's literally Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think he's more likable too.
He doesn't do. I think he could do like an Oscar movie. Like, I think he pulled up. But I mean, it's hard because he is a giant lumbering man. But he just does like
not to be like kind of not judge a book by its cover, but like Dave Bautista wants to be taken as a more serious actor. Like, they asked him if he would do Fast and Furious, and he was like, "No, I'll pass." And he wants to be taken as a more serious actor, which is great. That's awesome. If he has a passion, I want him to be the best actor in the world. But it's just like, you typically don't, and it's stereotype, I guess, but you typically don't see these big, bulky guys winning Academy Awards for leading a Best Picture drama, because I think some of it is it's hard to relate to.
Like, they're hard to cast. Like,
it's hard to, like, all right, we have this, indie drama featuring The Rock.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they both did their family movies. Like, The Rock had The Tooth Fairy, and what was the football one where he had a daughter?
And he did, Race to Witch Mountain. He did a bunch of stuff for Disney.
And then Dave Bautista did the one with the little girl.
Yeah, the spy movie.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go down that route. But again, like, these aren't Oscar movies, because even in those movies, The Rock was a football player, and Dave Bautista was a super spy action star. Like, they're big guys.
Like, he was in Bond, the one Spectre, and he was a big villain, but also had like more serious dialogue, and it was just weird seeing like Bautista. It's not that he was bad.
A giant guy in a suit.
Yeah, exactly. I can't see it. Like, he's in Army of the Dead, which I've watched parts of, and it's a more dramatic role. So I think that's probably his lane, like action, but add a little bit of actual acting to it and stuff. And I think The Rock could, but The Rock is very much The Rock.
Yeah, I think he enjoys the lane he's in. I think he's enjoying these.
He's got it. Everybody else enjoys them. I've never heard someone say, now especially, that they dislike The Rock.
Yeah, like, just keep doing their skyscrapers. Keep doing your giant, what is that? The giant animals fighting each other.
Rampage.
Yeah, do it. I don't care. I'll watch it.
Based off a video game. I haven't seen that one, but I did see San Andreas.
I saw parts of it. It was good.
I heard Skyscraper was one of like the worst movies ever. But it probably made money.
Yeah, it was fine. I watched it. I turned my brain off, and I turned on The Rock, and I was in.
That's what I'm doing with that new Chris Pratt movie, kind of just turning my
Tomorrow
brain off. But, he's probably one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. So naturally, he's in the new franchise from Disney. with Emily Blunt. I think another
fantastic.
She's a great actress.
Fantastic.
I don't know if she's bankable, but like
she's getting there.
Everybody loves her. She has a great off-screen presence, just like The Rock. And she seems down to earth. I will say though, and this was interesting to see. So everybody on the press tour for Quiet Place 2 kept asking her if she was cast in Fantastic Four or if she'd want to be. And she eventually was just like, no, stop asking me.
Yeah.
She's like, everybody keeps asking me that.
Dream
Marvel.
Cast.
She's like, I don't want to be in those movies. It's just not for me. I'm not saying it's below me. Not. And I was like, great. You know what you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure
if they came at her, she'd be in it. Like, they always say that. They're always like, I don't want to do that. And
they want her and John Krasinski. Like, fans want her and John Krasinski.
Her husband, John Krasinski.
Which doesn't mean fans should get what they want, as we've seen with, WandaVision and stuff.
But Cumberbatch was a dream cast for a long time. And he became Doctor Strange. I mean, it does happen.
Yeah, it does. I can't really think of anything else because a lot of the iconic ones were...
Well, Samuel Jackson was kind of like... He was already in the Ultimates comic.
Oh, they were drawing them. So, like just two super bankable, super down to earth. Like that response she gave to the reporter is a normal person reaction. It wasn't this, like
you never know.
I like to see that. It's like, no, stop asking me. I want nothing to do with it.
Who else is in
Jungle Cruise?
Anyone else?
Nobody that I know.
And I know it's gonna be mean. I can't think of his name.
Shockingly, no Kevin Hart.
They call him Fat Damon, but that's not his name. He looks like Matt Damon.
Oh, I don't know.
It's Kirsten Dunst's husband.
Oh, really? I don't know. But Paul Giamatti's in the movie.
Oh, great. Another great actor. You know what? I'm into this. I'm into this movie.
Seeing the trailer, which I don't know if you want to look up.
I'm going to look up the actor's name because I don't want to disrespect him.
Yeah. I saw the first trailer like a year ago or a year and a half at this point when it was originally supposed to come out. And I was into it. I was like, cool, because I loved Pirates of the Caribbean, the movies. And they started to get bad, but I still like them. I like the characters. I like the concept of taking a ride and turning it into a movie because some of these rides do have like a cool backstory. Did you find the person?
Yeah.
Who was
Jesse Plemons?
Let me see.
You just Google Fat Damon, he comes up.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
I feel
He's
awful.
the bad guy.
It's not. I didn't come up with that name. I know it's not, but that's...
You gotta post it. When we post this episode, he's gotta be in there.
That's literally, if you Google Fat Damon, he comes up. And it's mean because he's not even that fat, but he looks just like Matt Damon.
He does. No, he does.
Yeah, that's Kirsten Dunst's husband as well.
And I think there's a couple other people in it. But I'm digging the vibe of the movie.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, I hate to compare it, but that's the vibe I'm getting, and that's not a bad vibe.
No. First Pirates of the Caribbean is fantastic. Second one was really good. A lot of people love it.
I like all three as a trilogy.
So do I.
Yeah.
I like 4 a lot. People don't like 4.
Which one is 4? Blackbeard?
Yes.
I like 4 as well.
Yeah,
I thought it was...
The Fountain of Youth. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And then 5, I enjoyed the bad guy, but a lot of people hated it.
Too.
And it was kind of a soft reboot because Orlando Bloom was in the end. I like the vibe. Like their poster is like old. What are like the old action movies like painted like Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Like they're trying to go for that old like action vibe. Where I'm hoping the problem with a lot of Disney newer live action movies that are not Marvel or Star Wars is that they're over CGI'd and the CGI looks bad. Like not the Jungle Book and not like Lion King, but like. The live action Alice in Wonderland.
Well, that
second
movie was a mess.
I like that first one. The second one's horrible.
I know you're talking about that because
like the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Like they over CGI everything, and this one does look. To the second trailer,
there was like a jaguar in the trailer,
weird.
and it just like can't you just use the same technology from like
which I guess they're still working on. It's not a finished product.
It should be
at this point.
It was delayed.
It should be at this point. The second trailer had a lot more of that CGI, where the first one had a lot of more like practical and action. So we'll see. I think it's directed by Rob Marshall, who did some of the later end. Definitely did Pirates 4.
Okay.
And I think he also did Into the Woods.
Okay.
Disney hasn't had a bankable franchise really in their live action since...
For something they own.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Because Star Wars and
that's what I'm saying.
Marvel,
like, no Marvel, no Star Wars, no Pixar, and not their animation. Like, their live action movies. can't think of like the last live action movie they did.
It was Pirates, yeah.
It has to be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Because they were banking on Nutcracker. They were banking on.
Gave that a chance on Disney Plus.
I watched it. It was whatever.
I thought it was intrigued me in the beginning because they get all the same thing. It's always a young person who's super creative. And then there's always, their parents are into something, and then there's this fantasy aspect of it. And it just didn't hit with... I can't think of like another one that they did offhand, but I guess they're just not memorable.
No, Disney is extremely hit or miss. Yeah, they are extremely hit or miss, and like the biggest thing is like they do bank on these other IPs. If it's not their animation, like their animation has been stellar. I think they're in their like kind of maybe their best, one of the better generations in a while, but their live action, like they can't find like a good...
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like their animation has probably not really missed. Like the early 2000s did. Like I love Treasure Planet, but commercially it just didn't hit. Like I think maybe besides from Pirates of the Caribbean, the last like live action success they had was the Muppets, and it's not something they own. Yeah. So I don't know. I think they're still kind of looking, but they just throw all this money, and because they have other things that are going to make it up. So I think this is their attempt to really solidify a new franchise. They got bankable actors. Like, even though Emily Blunt was in the Mary Poppins sequel, which again wasn't financially successful, I think she's great.
Yeah,
I think
she's fantastic.
A great choice. So they've done this. They did Pirates, they did the Haunted Mansion, which was a huge flop,
and
now they're getting ready to do Tower of Terror with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, which the rumor is she's definitely attached to it, either to produce or also star in. So I'm not sure where she lies, but like, what do you think?
Wasn't that already an episode? Like, isn't that ride based off an episode of Twilight Zone, or am I wrong?
Yeah, so there's also this other thing in the theme park world that has been talked around, that they're tired of paying for the rights to Twilight Zone.
Oh, so they're working around. Okay.
Yeah, so they have the Guardians in California, and then Tokyo Sea, or Hong Kong, they have another, it's not Twilight Zone, because Asian culture
doesn't like ghosts
the way that we do, so it's something different, and I think something different else. But
so this is their workaround. If they make a movie based on their ride, they can then kind of retheme it and not have to pay for the rights.
They would swap out Twilight Zone
and just be Tower of Terror.
It could be Tower of Terror. They, I don't know in terms of trademark, but they did, because they did a TV movie on it.
Yeah, I remember. With who was in that?
The guy
Goomberg? Was it Goomberg in that?
Yeah. So this is probably their solution.
That's a really good workaround, though, because isn't Taylor Swift doing that as well? Isn't she re-recording?
Yes. So she owns it all.
And so she owns it. That's such a good idea, though. Like, what an easy workaround. I applaud you, Disney.
Yeah.
That is really smart. Like, why not? Like, all right, let's do a movie about this ride. And they can juice up the Jungle Cruise as well,
which they are, and they said they're waiting for the movie to hit to see if they want, because they recently made changes to the ride. Are you familiar with the ride at all?
Yes. So I used to go to Disney with my family like every 2 years until about like 2001. I think the last time I was there had to be 2008 maybe.
Okay.
So that's whatever changes were them. That's where the era was. Yeah, I enjoy this ride. I think it's a nice, easy ride. It's not anything crazy, but it is one of those nostalgia rides.
Yeah. I am not super familiar. My family is huge Disney people, and I didn't become familiar with the ride until more recently, where I started getting into theme parks, and I was like, "Well, why haven't we never done this ride?" And so this ride is a main attraction for a lot of people, and it was an opening day attraction with Disneyland back in 1955, specifically July 17th, 1955. And the ride did evolve a little bit, and for those who know the ride, the skipper is the main attraction of this ride, because they'll tell jokes, and that's
like a person. It's not like an animatronic. It's the person who...
It's a person. There's a there's
like
kind
a castmate.
It's a script they follow with a variety of different jokes that really makes the ride. So it's fun, and recently, right before COVID, some boats sunk on the ride.
Okay.
But I think they took that time to fix some of the boats up, but also they did improve the ride. They made changes to things that were not culturally appropriate, and they had a bad depiction of indigenous people. So they recently changed that a couple weeks ago, and some parts of it are still being worked, but I think they're waiting to
see if this ride
tweak
hits.
it even more to see if this movie hits.
I'd be into that. I want to see The Rock. Like, oh, there's a hippo, and then The Rock's also standing in the water
flexing.
It'd be
so awesome if The Rock was in the ride.
And then you go around the other way, and there's a Rock with a snake, and then it's just The Rock through the whole ride.
Say whatever you want.
The Rock cruise.
Say whatever you want. The Rock, wants to run for president, this and that. This would cement his legacy if he was an animatronic in a Disney World ride. I think that'd be incredible.
But I think he could easily, because they did that for Pirates. They added Davy Jones kind of in the beginning on the waterfall, like a little. Yeah, so then they
also had Blackbeard, and now it's neither.
Oh, they got rid of that little part?
Yeah, with the smoke, it's just like a skeleton though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
It was cool.
Because they just they changed again some of the things that were culturally inappropriate, like the bidding on the women. They kind of changed.
The redhead they changed to a pirate. We want the redhead.
Shift your cargo, dearie. Show them your larboard side.
We want the redhead.
They changed her from to a pirate, and they changed the dialogue, which they're doing a reboot of Pirates with Margot Robbie, who will be playing that pirate.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. And I know they added Jack throughout the thing, which is fine. Like, it's not...
I love that character.
It didn't... But also didn't take away from the ride. Like, it was just like...
The only thing it takes away from is his animatronic is incredible.
Yeah, well...
And then all the other ones are still like the
1950s,
yeah. 60s ones, yeah.
Which is fine. It just adds a little without taking much away. Yeah. And they could do that easily with the Jungle Cruise. Like, just kind of have...
All attractions need that little pick-me-up facelift for a lot of things. So you are familiar with Disney World. What would be like a Disney property, theme park ride that you would love to see made into like the Jungle Cruise?
Like a movie, like a AAA type movie?
Yeah, the next Pirates or the next Jungle Cruise, but not the next Haunted Mansion.
So there was a ride back in the day, and it was wild for Disney. Like, it was called Alien Encounter.
Yep.
Extraterrestrial. If you've never been on this ride, look it up. It's insane for a Disney ride, because it wasn't even a ride. It was just like the premise was that you were going into this scientific thing, and it was transporting an alien, or it was like I think it was like they were transporting an alien to prison or something.
Yeah.
It was something weird like that. There was someone with a transporter, little mini show like Disney always does, and then you go into this room and you get strapped into these chairs that were just like on your shoulder, and then there's a tube in the middle, and they're supposed to be teleporting in the president of this company, instead teleporting this terrifying alien. So I was like in 5th grade, and I was just like, what is happening? So then the lights go out, and the alien escapes in this room, and it's jumping all around. Disney owns Alien, like the franchise now. Just go off that.
Bring it back.
Make a extraterrestrial movie.
I'm too young for that, so I was never there for that.
It became Stitch.
It did become Stitch.
Yeah,
so
because it was too terrifying.
Did do that, but I recently learned about that. Not recently, but I've been listening to we talked about it here before, Podcast The Ride. They did a whole episode on it.
Okay.
And they talked about just how terrifying it was.
It didn't make sense.
And it's that crazy Michael Eisner era of Disney where they were just doing crazy stuff. But they did change it into Stitch. Same premise, same thing.
Yeah, he got out and burped.
And he burps, he
chili
farts,
dogs
and he jumps on you. And people didn't like it. And it became seasonal. And once a ride becomes seasonal, it's over. Yeah. So it's now closed.
But but
it was the same mechanics, basically.
That's my movie. Just make a scary.
Starring who? The Rock?
Yeah. Starring The Rock, Steve Guttenberg,
Sigourney Weaver.
Nah, that's too on the nose. Daniel Radcliffe and Jaleel White. Steve Urkel. I need Jaleel White back.
Okay. All right. That's pretty hefty.
You thought you put me on the spot.
You did.
I came prepared.
The one I'm kind of surprised about. Now I'm not sure. This might be it. I am just kind of surprised there's no Space Mountain movie. Like just send it like in Apollo 13.
Yeah, I think it's tough because it really doesn't have a story. I think Mission.
That's true.
Space would almost. Was that Mission to Mars? Is that what it is? What was the one?
Like
Gravitron type one. Mission Space.
Mission Space.
Yeah, I think maybe that. But I know what you're saying. Like more day one.
Yeah,
like or Disney attraction.
Or give me the Carousel of Progress as a movie.
Yeah.
Starring. That's your Oscar movie.
Enchanted Room.
Dead Enchanted Room.
That'd be fun.
Cool. Maybe Big Thunder Mountain. Like that could
easily translate.
That could absolutely easily. You got a Runaway Train movie, Western. I don't know. I'm thinking strictly in the Magic Kingdom.
I'm trying to think workarounds now. They can do what's the Aerosmith one?
Oh, Rock and Roller Coaster.
Make a Rock and Roller Coaster movie, and then just get rid of Aerosmith. They just need to update that anyway.
They do. That ride's still great.
Hop on!
Yeah, I think because everything there is already. If it's not a movie like based thing, they've made it IP driven. So I'm gonna go with Big Thunder Mountain. Like they could do some sort of like wild action adventure, maybe a Lone Ranger type movie, but just better.
But that
sort of thing.
As soon as they make these movies, they can make board games about them.
They could.
So
they very could. Runaway, Big Thunder Mountain could very easily be a game like this.
Get Prosper Hall on it.
Yeah, in the works,
Mountain.
And there is a Haunted Mansion game too that we have not played. But yeah, I would probably say Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay.
Starring, as always, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans put the band back together.
Okay.
And then
who's the girl? Who's
the girl is Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh, I'm surprised.
From Fast and Furious.
All right. I thought you'd immediately just go Emma Watson.
No, I should. I gotta keep things out of the box. I already 2 in the box with them 2.
My damsel in distress would be The Rock. So.
Actually, what would be cool to see Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans and Chris Pratt and Chris Pine. Like they are just like the Chris's. Like the 4 conductors, and then like Michelle Rodriguez is fine, and then it's like,
and then The Rock is a bad guy.
Like Murder on the Orient Express, The Rock's the bad guy, but it's Big Thunder Mountain. Get crazy with it, get weird. But
CGI,
all of it, like Disney. But this game, The Jungle Cruise, is pretty wild in itself. There's some real fun aspects to it.
Now, is the game based on the ride or the movie?
So it's based on the ride.
Okay.
Fully. More so the Disneyland version from the board itself.
Okay.
This is a game released June 1st of last year, which the movie was supposed to come out like July 1st, so kind of to coincide, but also not really.
Okay.
So it was released by Ravensburger and Prosper Hall, are 2 of our favorites.
Wow, 2 in a row.
Yeah, Hall. I know. So it MSRP's for $45.
Yikes.
Which is a steep price, but you can find it anywhere for around $30 to, if you get it during a deal, $20, which I did. You can buy a special one from the Disney site, which is $45. That just, I think the only difference is the box looks more like a crate, which is a theme throughout the game because it is just like the ride.
Okay.
So for the first time ever,
back of the box.
There you go. I get to do the back of the box segment. It says, attention skippers, wanted. Family seeks experienced skipper for safe, speedy voyage along perilous Jungle River to Jungle Navigation Company headquarters. Esteemed company owner Alberta Falls will announce one of the 4 families as temporary company caretakers before going on sabbatical, and we're in the running. Since we might be your future bosses, if you keep us on board, we'll do the same for you. Skipper must guarantee arrival of cargo and passengers, preferably in one piece. And it says, can you keep your passengers and cargo safe from jungle dangers? Find clues about which families have fallen out of Alberta's favor along the way. The skipper who finishes with the most valuable freight of travelers and cargoes will win a cruise back home.
It's not easy, is it?
That's the back of the box. So, you want to go play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go play. Welcome aboard the world famous Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Navigation Company is famous across the world for being world famous. You're about to enjoy a distinctive, exciting voyage down perilous jungle rivers. But you'll need a little extra preparation for this trip, since this time you're the skipper. You'll be captain, river guide, cruise director, snake charmer, lion tamer, and possibly even swimming instructor for an intrepid group of travelers. You might say to yourself, I've never skipped a boat before. Who would be crazy enough to come aboard? 12 strangers and eccentric explorers from around the world are about to embark on a journey to Jungle Navigation Company headquarters. There I, Alberta Falls, await your arrival. I've spent my entire life in the jungle, and while I love it, I'm looking to take some much-needed time off. To fill in during my absence, I've decided to temporarily bestow the company on one of the 4 famous families that helped my grandfather establish it. Denial, Cruise, Temple, and Lion. As the skipper, you'll be paid for each individual you transport and each cargo delivery that you make. Keep an eye out as you stare through the jungle. You may find clues about which families I've chosen to inherit the company. Or you may spot a lost passenger in the jungle who needs saving. The skipper who finishes with the most valuable freight of treasures and travelers will win another trip aboard the exciting, world-famous Jungle Cruise. Yours truly, Alberta Falls. All right, we're back.
We're back.
We survived our trip, and we went and took the company over from Alberta Falls. So we played it. What'd you think?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's very just roll and move. So you start off, there's 4 different ships. There's the Congo Queen, the Sankaroo Sadie, the Volta Val, and then the Nelly Nile. So those are the 4 ships, the different colors. And basically the mechanic is you roll a dice from 1 to 4. You move whatever those spaces are. Say you move 3 spaces. Then you pick up 4 cards. And you only have to do the actions on 3 of the 4 cards. And at the top, there's 3 boxes, and the amount of X's that are in the boxes indicate the amount of these exclamation fate dice, basically. And if you roll, say you have 1 and you roll 1 and it lands on the exclamation point, the highlighted part of the boat on the bottom of the card, you remove a passenger or cargo. And if you get blanks, you don't remove anybody. And there's outposts along the way, there are clues along the way. So the 4 families, as Alberta Falls said in his beautiful letter, that there's the Denial, the Cruise, the Temple, and the Lions. So along the way, you have the ability to look at these clues, and it'll show you 3 of the 4. Like each one will show you 1, and those are the ones that you are not going to win the game, get the most points for, and that's just like a point-based system.
Yeah, those are the ones you want to let fall off the boat, because your boat is full when you first start, full of passengers. Yeah. And they all have little icons on them.
Yeah, I kind of dove right into the mechanic of the game. But what else am I missing that we did?
That was kind of it. That's it. There's not a lot to it. That's what I liked about it. I liked that we were able to jump right in. It's a very easy game. It's just like your boat is full of passengers. Each passenger has like a little icon, which represents one of the 4 families. You travel along the river, and stuff happens.
You roll these cards. They determine your fate, and you either lose a cargo or you lose a passenger. It's up to you based on the highlighted section.
Yeah. So how many cards you play is how much you move. So if you roll 3, you draw 4 cards, but you only play 3. And I like that you get to you mitigate which ones you play, because each one has a danger scale of 1 to 3, and then it indicates what side the boat is kind of getting reacted by the danger. So if it's like a 1 danger elephant, and you have, or you can mitigate. So if you're looking at the clues and you know that the lion family, whatever family has the lion, that they're not going to get you end game points, you can look at the card, see that they're on that side of the boat, and play that card. Yeah. So even if a passenger does fall off, it's a passenger that you don't need. Like, I do like that you can mitigate the game somehow, and it's...
So there's some strategy to it. So part of that strategy is you can go to the clue, or you can bypass the clue, which Bryan, you bypassed every clue and you went right to the finish.
I went right to the finish because there is a benefit to going to finish as you just start collecting some of the end game coins that are there.
Yeah, so at the very end, you get to the end and you see the clue of which family's chosen. Then there's also a stack of tips. So the tips are $3, $2, and then 111. So each turn you have there, you collect a tip. Bryan was there for 4 of the 5 tips. So he got 4 and I got 1. And as soon as all 5 tips are gone, the game ends. And then you add up your points. So while Bryan was sitting there at the finish, I was still making my trek along the way and still had to do some of the clues and the dangers. So like there is an advantage to finishing first where you got there way before me, didn't see any clues, and at that point those points that you collected from your tips were kind of the deciding factor. Like, it didn't matter.
I thought that was kind of weak. Like,
I agree.
That I got to the end to collect 5, 6, 7 points for just
7 points
sitting there before you got there.
Yeah.
Like that was weird. Like there should be a better way.
There's some things about this game that could take this from a fun game to a much better game. Like there's only one path that you can shortcut and go past the clue, or you can go to the clue. The outpost you have to stop even if you roll 4 and it's 1 away. You have to stop at the 1. And then you only have to do 1 action card. And it's just like very just monotonous. I broke this out before to kind of get myself ready to learn the game. So I've played by myself. I played with producer Audra, and I've played with you now. And one of the fun aspects of this game is that your danger cards are just like the ride. So there are jokes with each card that you pull.
There are dad jokes.
Which are skipper jokes.
They're perfect.
Which, like, for example, the classic, backside of water is one of the cards. I played backside of water. It was 1 danger to the left side, and the joke was, coming from this side, us skippers call it O2H. But that's a chemical joke, which doesn't always get a reaction.
Great joke. Great joke.
Yeah. It is. It's a good one. And that was that's kind of the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
And there's some cards that are facing sideways, and if you draw them, you have to play them, and they help. And then on a turn where you stop in the middle and you don't go to an outpost or you don't go to a clue, you pick up a lost and found, which is either a cargo, which there's 3 different cargoes, and if you have a set, you get more points at the end, or there's a lost passenger token. And then each skipper gets a specialty card that can help you. If I use my warning flare chip, which allows me to re-roll once per set, and it reloads at the outpost. And yours was you get to save a passenger at a cargo.
At the outpost.
Which I think that's some of the problem with this game is there's no stakes. Like, I feel like it's all very simple. Okay, I'm going to use my warning flare, but it just reloads in 6 spaces.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good. This is a family game.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see a bunch of adults kind of sitting around. I mean, the jokes are fine, but also we talked about in last episode replayability. There's not much here.
No. So that's what I was getting to when I played it with producer Audra. It was like to be fair, it was after like I worked out and it was like a Tuesday night, but we played and I just couldn't wait to be done. Like, I was like, okay, it's fine. I'm glad I got this on Prime Day. It was $20.
I think that's a perfect price point compared to what was the original MSRP.
45.
Yeah,
on
that's
Disney.
And there's that has to be why, because of the branding, because there's not. I mean, the quality of everything in here is great, but it's just chits and 4 boats.
The dice are cool.
The dice are the best part.
Yeah, the dice are really cool. So yeah, like the stuff inside is nice, but I feel like this game could be better. I don't want to sound like a parent, but I expected more from Prosper Hall and Ravensburger in terms of their collaboration and the way they output product.
It needed to be marketed more as a kids game. Like, I don't know how you do that exactly, because like you can't just be like, oh, Disney, that's kiddie stuff, because Villainous is not a kids game, but this plays more like a kid's game. Like I can see.
I mean, it's ages 8 and up.
Okay, but that's still never like I need to figure out what the aging is.
Yeah.
But that's never like indicative of how a game is played. Because like this game, I could see this. I could sit around my nephew and he'll laugh at the jokes, especially if I'm doing like the voices and like it's fun, but
it's good for families. It's good for kids. And I said like if you have like people who like Disney or just want like an easy game, if you're having like friends over, it's easy to like play this game. Have conversation because you don't got to pay attention really what's going on. So and just to go over quickly like the scoring at the end, so when you get to the end and you say, okay, well for us it was the Temple family was the winning family, so each person with a Temple symbol on them got 5 points. And then everybody else got 3 points, so it's really only a 2-point difference. That's why I said that
was another weird one too.
Competitive like large competitive advantage. And then if you have a set of cargo, it's 10 points. Each individual's 1, and then the points. But yeah, like it was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
With the right audience.
Yeah.
AK kids. I think this is a good kids game. That's a high price. That's the other thing. That's a high price kids game. Like.
Like $20 is fine.
Yeah.
Like I feel like okay, this is a family night, and we want to play a board game. Like this is fine. Like. I probably could see myself playing this with Audra and her family. Like, I feel like her mom would like this game.
Yeah.
And
it's not hard. It's not complicated.
There's no competitiveness.
There's no take that.
Like,
that's the other thing that's kind of missing. I can't throw a stick of dynamite on your boat.
Exactly.
Or like something weird. I can't shoot the flare onto your boat.
Like that would be awesome because that would be like, all right, I'm gonna gives you a reason other than the end game to keep up with the points. Now there is, if you were to play this with 4 people, at each outpost there's only 3 outpost cargo. So that would be like the only advantage of getting there first. The last one doesn't get something. But in the end, if you don't have a set, it's just 1 point.
Yeah.
So I can tell you're very whatever about this.
I
feel the same way. So I
don't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I hate this game. I'm not going to tell people not to buy it. But I have very mixed feelings because of the price point.
Like we're a year, and it could be because the movie's coming out, but we're at over a year this game's been out, and it's still...
I haven't heard anyone who plays it. I don't know anyone. I haven't seen on Instagram. I haven't seen...
It's ranked in the thousands on Amazon, but it's still $30, $35. Before Prime Day, it was $34.99.
Yeah, even I feel like it's a Target for like $35, $40.
Target was $29. So,
on sale, okay. Then
like that was just
even $29 though. That's not.
I did not want to pay. I kept waiting and waiting for the price to drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I think this might be the first, like, besides Smash Up, like the first one. Well, Smash Up was for me. I know you love Smash Up.
But you played Smash Up again. You were fine with it.
I was fine. That's true.
Yeah, this is definitely one. I don't even want to I don't even want to play this again.
No.
Like, at least with the Funfair, we were kind of flip-floppy, but I played it again. This one, like, I have no interest. Like, which, again, it bums me out because I love the IP, I love the designers, but it's just not for me.
So, I know they have the Haunted Mansion game, so I'm curious to see if that's the same thing. But that one was significantly cheaper, too. You got that for, like, $15, right?
Like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think even the initial MSRP wasn't that expensive.
Yeah.
Like 45. Like for what?
I know. Exactly. I know. People don't talk about it. If I could return it, I would. The good thing is it looks nice on a shelf. But this is going in the closet.
Yeah.
The game closet.
Yeah, production is that's the thing.
The production's top notch. It's nothing against the production level. It's just mechanic. It's
roll and move.
Boring.
Just
it's a boring mechanic.
Basic set collection with weird point system.
If the cards didn't have jokes, it
would be the driest game in the world.
It would be. It would not be. I think that the jokes save it a little bit.
Again, with the audience.
Yeah,
if you're with a bunch of adults and you're just like, read it. Like,
yeah.
This secluded elephant pool has never before been seen by civilized man. And looking at everyone on this boat, it still hasn't. And with like a bunch of grown people around, they're gonna be like, ah.
I mean, it'll get a laugh out of me.
Yeah.
That was genuine.
Oh, we laughed when we
we did
played
laugh
it.
when we play.
But again, replayability. I'm not gonna laugh when I hear that again.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
kid though.
That's it. That's the biggest thing. The replayability is down. So we'll probably play it again when your kid turns 6 or 7.
Maybe.
I'll brush the dust
you'll
off.
Give it to him.
Yeah, be like, here is an ancient relic.
Right here, we covered this.
Yeah.
On episode 8.
So I just, from the Great Alberta Falls, I was expecting more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably the first game I don't recommend.
Yeah, I know. Price point. If you're a family looking for it, there's better family games out there.
Better family games for the price,
but if
especially.
You're interested in the Jungle Cruise movie, you love Disney, then maybe when it's on sale. But I'm not going to say I recommend it. Yeah. And that's shocking because we like everything else that this company makes.
And it's our first game that we're kicking.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
and you want to get into what's
next?
I
don't
want
to live anymore. We can kind of move on. All right, so I got some news I kind of wanted to bring to you. So I know you don't know much about Magic the Gathering, right? Like the card game Magic.
I only know about it because of our good friends Duke and like all of them at the at Capes and Cows Comics and Collectibles in Ben Salem. Mm-hmm. They are big Magic people.
Yeah,
that's about it. I know it's a card game.
Mm-hmm.
For all I know it's kind of like the design aspect of it is like a Lord of the Rings type of fantasy, like that. It's like grittier.
Okay, so it's perfect you said that because they're doing something different where they're doing I think it's called like Universe Beyond. So the story of Magic the Gathering is, because it actually has a story, is that there's these people called planeswalkers and they can walk in between universes. So that's how Magic gets away with kind of having different themes. So because right now I think the theme for Magic is like Norse mythology.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay,
it's a lot of like Asgardian stuff. They did like fairy tale stuff before, where it's like literally Hansel and Gretel.
Are they doing like a collaboration?
So and then they recently announced this Universe Beyond, and they're doing Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer 4K, and Lord of the Rings.
Wow. So
I think when either this episode airs or sometime this summer, the Dungeons and Dragons one's coming out, and it looks cool. Like it looks very different than kind of what they've done before. It takes characters and monsters from Dungeons and Dragons, which is another IP you and I don't necessarily know. But if you're a fan of D&D, this might bring you into Magic, which is why it's such a good idea. Because like Magic is a great game. I haven't introduced you to it, and I will eventually, but it is a very solid game. It's just a very expensive, like Pokemon, non-stop, gotta buy game. But I think one of the coolest aspects of this is the artwork for this game is like really solid artwork, and then they're doing alternative cards where the characters look like they would in a D&D
that's pretty cool looking
rule book. So the one I showed is like Nadir, the Selfless Paladin, and the original artwork, solid like always, like Magic always is. But they're also doing like I'm assuming a rare card in a set where it looks like from the old school D&D booklet. The other cool thing that they're doing with it is they're making actual like dungeon cards.
Okay.
That will go off to your sideboard, kind of, and certain characters in the deck will explore the dungeon, and they'll traverse different rooms in this dungeon, and they affect card play. So the one I'm looking at is called like the Tomb of Annihilation, and as the person goes through it, each player loses 2 health. They go into another room. Each player loses 2 life unless they sacrifice a monster this turn. Like it's cool because it just kind of affects the board state, and it's also a very different mechanic.
Okay.
That's never been in Magic before. Some other weird artwork is like it looks like
that's cool.
Really old school Dungeons and Dragons like covers.
Yeah, it looks like 80s art, kind of.
Yeah, and then another cool aspect is there's going to be full frame art cards, which are going to be like the chase expensive cards.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, I don't know if they could play for the game of Magic, but they're like D&D reference. So it has all the stats as if you would play D&D, and I think that's them
opening up,
trying to introduce Magic players to Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a really good idea. So I don't think I'm going to jump in on this one or the Warhammer 40K, because those are two IPs I don't love, but a Lord of the Rings set would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I would absolutely play as Legolas as my commander, and then having like an orc horde.
Yeah.
Like Magic it's really cool that they're doing this. I think it's
an IP that's primed for something like that.
And that'll bring people in.
Yep.
And it fits perfectly. They could easily do any IP, because they've done it was a very limited, they have these things called like secret layers, and they're just super expensive like collectible sets they put out, and they did a Walking Dead one.
Oh, really?
So they had like Michonne with like her 2 zombies, and then they had like Negan, and then one of the weapons you could have in Magic was like his bat.
His bat, yeah.
Yeah, and that was cool. They also did another one was so in Magic there's your power, your mana is like artwork. It's plain, so it'll be like swamp, field, forest, water, like kind of like that.
Sure.
They did Bob Ross. They did like Bob Ross artwork, so there was like a set you could buy, and it was all his artwork.
That's pretty cool.
As the lands that you play in Magic.
That's smart.
Yeah, like I almost bought it.
Yeah.
I looked into it. It was expensive, but I was like, man, that looks so cool, just like framed and like. But it just, I wasn't ready.
Those type of things,
yeah,
man.
well, that's when they do special stuff like this. It's always like. It's pretty cool. I mean, they did Godzilla. They did a whole set where cool. Godzilla and his friends were like the big monsters in that set. So you could get Mothra, and I didn't know how to explain his menagerie. Yeah. So that was one thing I wanted to bring to the table. The other thing you want to talk about.
I did. So at this point, we're way past it, but Loki has been a pretty big sensation, to the fact that, it changed Disney Plus from Friday releases to Wednesday releases. Mm-hmm. And, of course, I want to talk about Villainous. Mm-hmm. But there's the Marvel expansion of Loki's Villainous expansion called Glorious Purpose, or Mischief and something or other. Yeah, but it's the Loki expansion.
Similar, yeah.
It's the Loki expansion, which you knew about for a while. And then one day I just happened to look, and it went on sale for pre-order, coming out tomorrow, I believe, August 1st. Or, I'm sorry, and if you're listening to this on the 30th, in 2 days, on August 1st.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, and then you found out who was in it, and kind of, you sent me a link of all the pieces.
The pieces look great.
Yeah.
There is a Target exclusive where they have a Frost Giant cover, and then the Loki piece is in green. It's like iced, which it looks cool, but I very much prefer the green look.
He's not, like, he is a Frost Giant, but they never reference it again.
They never really talk about it. Even like on the show, it's like, yes, you're from Jotunheim, but and then it's MODOK.
Okay.
Which the piece is cool. And then Madame Mask, right?
Okay.
Which I am not really familiar with her. But it was interesting that, again, that is the, kind of the mantra, one big baddie and then 2 smaller side ones, where I do feel like, like the first expansion for Disney's Villainous was the Evil Queen, Hades, and Facilier, which are, to me, those are 3 big bad guys. So
it's the one on the cover, though. Like, Loki's the one you're going to put on a cover and be like, oh, Loki. Like, MODOK's he's kind of in the zeitgeist at the moment.
Now.
Yeah,
yes.
like he's in the Avengers game.
Yeah,
and now he has that Hulu show.
The new TV show.
But Madame Mask is a weird one. That's just kind of.
So Marvel Villainous is played very differently than regular Disney Villainous, because there's not, you don't have your own fate pile. It's a community fate deck. So that aspect of things is very different, and we'll save that for when we get into it.
I wonder if they'll add more to put in the fate deck then.
I'm sure they will.
Because these small boxes are normally standalone.
Yeah.
So they'll need to create.
They called it. Well, I know they call it for Disney Expandalone.
Yeah.
So you can.
You could play in the box. Yeah.
Which I think that's a new term on the show. We've never really used Expandalone before.
Yeah, that's just Probably a made-up term.
Yeah,
it
is.
It's cute. It's a cute term.
But yeah, no, it looks cool. The pieces look cool. I'm excited. I do have it pre-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
And for once, I don't want the exclusive. Like, the exclusive was on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Cheaper, for whatever reason, cheaper than... It's not even out yet.
Yeah.
It's $18, and I don't want it.
Yeah,
And
I felt that about Gaston's, though. And then when I got it in my hand, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool looking. Maybe I'll get the exclusive.
Yeah.
And you can get the normal one."
I think I just have more of a connection to Loki. Like, I care about that character. And the show's been awesome so far.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm like want to be a purist and like want him the green.
Yeah.
Also, the green looks great. It's like
it's
that.
his color.
Yeah.
That's like it's just Loki's green. What characters would you want to see next?
Oh, I would love to see one of the Sinister Six.
Well, we talked about that.
We kind of talked about it on the Instagram.
Yeah, I would love to see a big box.
Yeah, currently they have Thanos in the original box, which is on sale for $15 right now. If you're interested.
Might not be.
It might not be at this point. It's been for a while.
Go back in time.
Thanos, Killmonger, Hela, Taskmaster,
and Ultron.
Yeah. They're all very unique, very different. I haven't played as Killmonger yet because he really does affect other people need it. The other ones you can kind of simulate. But
those are all movie
aside
baddies.
Aside from the Sinister Six, which Taskmaster is now. I mean, this came out
when Black Widow was supposed to come out.
True. Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Non-Sinister Six, I'd really like to see the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I was about to say, who's going on your box cover? That's what you got to think of. Who's the silhouette?
Yeah, probably the Winter Soldier. Ronan wouldn't be bad. There's not many MCU villains that get me like really excited, except for obviously like the big ones. Most of them in that box.
Yeah, you'd have to probably bring Ronan.
Like Dormammu would be cool.
Yeah,
because I love Doctor Strange. It's
that's what I'm trying to think of. If you do like a Ronan, then you can start bringing in the Guardians.
Yeah.
Into the Fate pile.
Well, they are Gamora, and I believe Gamora is because of Thanos and Draxus as well. But you could do that, if you could have, let's say they did do Ronan or the Winter Soldier. You could have a side person. If they had Winter Soldier, the other villain could be maybe like the bad guy from Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket. The Spider-Man villains are the big ones. Like Mysterio would be perfect. For this game. Doc Ock. They need a big box of the Sinister Six.
Yeah, which they haven't done for Disney. They haven't done. After they did the normal big box, they haven't done any more. So every time one of these expansions come out, I'm like, oh, still?
So now that I'm invested, I'm worried that this may be the last one.
I've been saying that since...
I know. And the fact that the Marvel big box is on sale everywhere since before Prime Day has me worried that maybe the Marvel one's not doing as well.
Prosper Hall is Funko now.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. So
yeah, I think Zemo would be good.
Oh yeah, Zemo would be cool.
I think Zemo, because I don't think Winter Soldiers, they're kind of moving away from him as a villain. So.
Yeah, but I feel like this pulls more from the comic book than the movies. So.
But he's not even a villain in the comics anymore either.
Not anymore. True.
Yeah, I think Zemo
would be good.
Good Shadow. Collector.
Yeah, the Collector and his brother would be good. Red Hulk.
Mandarin.
Mandarin would be good.
Ironmonger. I'm trying to think of the movies because they're going to go with the most recognizable.
Whiplash would be cool.
Yeah. Abomination.
Magneto would be cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's...
It'll be good. I'm going to have it. I'm going to play it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to report back.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover it. Mm-hmm. Like we're going to cover all the mini ones.
Yeah, we will. All right. You ready to fight?
Sure. All right, it's Super Fight. You guys know drill by now. It's episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
Basic card game by Skybound Games. Great game for just parties and drinking and hanging out with your friends and arguing if you like arguing.
Mm-hmm.
You draw 2 cards, which are your fighters, and then you draw 4 cards from another deck that's their advantage or disadvantage. They each get 2. So we have a French Bulldog and the Devil. So just from that, who wins?
The Bulldog.
Okay, there we go. All right, let me shuffle up these. The French Bulldog gets killed by water.
Okay.
So he's the alien from M. Night Shyamalan's Signs movie, and is rabid.
Okay. It's fair for a dog.
The devil is wearing a scuba suit and armed with a harpoon gun.
Well, he's perfect. If he's in a harpoon gun, he's ready for water. That dog's dying so quick.
All right, so I swear, these are random.
And he's wearing a scuba suit with a harpoon gun. Like
these are random.
He's made.
You're sitting across from me.
I know, they are very random.
I draw them.
And you shuffled them.
These are not predetermined.
Yep.
So how this worked out.
So the devil who is wearing scuba suits and a typically water-based weapon, ready to fight a bulldog who is killed by water and
rabid.
There's nothing aside from the water. A rabid bulldog is something that people can encounter from day to day. The devil.
The devil.
Yeah, that was easy.
We're redoing this. Round 2.
All right, here's our second round.
That one was so
odd.
Just easy. All right, so I'm drawing 2. We got a vampire and Google. I guess the whole company.
Yeah, everybody.
Who runs Google?
I don't know.
No, that guy.
Oh, it's a community at this point, I think.
The vampire has a sonic scream and can turn into any vehicle.
Okay.
And Google is wearing rocket power roller skates and a jetpack.
The vampire can turn into either of those forms, trick him, and kill him.
What is Google? It's just a cup. I'm just like...
So the building? Is it the building? Is it the Google building?
I don't know. Is it just everyone?
The browser? Anybody who uses Google?
Yeah.
They weaponize Google.
So who's the main CEO of Google? All right, Sundar Pichai.
But it doesn't say CEO of Google. It just says Google.
So it's the whole company of Google.
Everybody.
Versus one vampire who could turn to any vehicle and has a sonic screen.
All right, well, just from...
And everyone working at Google has rocket power roller skates and a jetpack.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody at Google, they are a very great company, so people do have late hours there. Mm-hmm. Which benefits the vampire who cannot be out in the sunlight just because he's a vampire.
Okay.
But the majority of people will not be there at night. So is he fighting half a company at that point? I'm opening up a can of worms here.
Just Google. What kind of card is that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a strange one.
All right, there we go. I don't know who wins that because I'm dumbfounded.
We'll leave that up for the suits in Washington.
Google. Yeah, this one I'm just leaving for the audience. Whatever the audience says.
You guys can figure it out.
I think it's the last super fight.
Maybe we'll have a new shtick next time.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You made it this far.
Yeah, thank you.
Through our nonsense.
Yeah, true. I hope you enjoyed our review. I hope we maybe saved you some money on a game. And maybe you went and saw Jungle Cruise. Hope you enjoyed it. We're getting ready to watch it soon. But yeah, remember to leave us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. Recommend us to your friend, your hair cutter, your barber. Yeah, your barber.
Also known as a hair cutter.
Or hairstylist.
There you go.
Your dentist.
Yeah.
Your librarian. Recommend us. Your friends, your teachers, anybody. And then follow us on the gram, right?
Yeah. Gateway Gamers Pod. Just, because anything we kind of cover, we put pictures up and then other
fun.
Games that we kind of cover as well.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Attention skippers, if you're looking for some variety and need to log extra time at the wheel, another group of, volunteers is being shanghaied for nighttime excursions down the Congo. These fascinating cruises through total darkness can be both exhilarating and unpredictable. Equatorial Expeditions presents The Route of the Lost Queen. 2- and 3-week journeys are available on a first-come, you-must-go basis. Interested parties should contact ILB Fair at the Office of the Interior. Last week, the River Pilot's license test was given to 30 Jungle Cruise skippers. Congratulations to all those who passed. The remaining 29 pilots may take the test again next month.
coming up on the rear is the bathing pool. This secluded elephant pool has never been seen.
Cut. No, you can't just go. It won't work.
I was just gonna come over. I poorly executed that.
I didn't know what was happening.
Well, I was just gonna insert that into the.
I know, but we can record them later. You have to go.
I guess we didn't talk about it.
Can you please put this after the song as like an outtake? Because that was
RP include this at the end.
Oh, he literally just went into the microphone and then started flailing around. I was so caught off guard. All right,
but yeah, there's no real replayability to this game.
All right, where were we before you?